Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, and it's a pleasure to have you back with us again today. We're coming to you from our capital, Washington, D.C., and we're here at the Caribbean African Faith-Based Leadership Conference, Global Conference, headed by Dr. Agaram DK, who has put this together and is the leader of this great group of faith leaders from all over the world, and especially Caribbean and Africa. As most of you know, I was born in Cuba, so I'm very partial to the Caribbean. And I have someone here very special with us today, and actually hails from our hometown, New York City, Bronx, New York, Dr. Pauline Walley. Welcome to A Time for Truth show, Doctor.
Thank you. I am glad to be with you this morning.
Absolutely. And how did you come about to be coming down to this great conference that we're in today?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. As you know, I am Dr. Pauline Walley Daniels, and I am the International Prayer Coordinator for Caribbean African Faith-Based Conference, that is CAFBLC. I work with Dr. Agaram DK as the prayer coordinator. So this morning I was the first to do the presentation, and we wanted to let people know that there is a place of hope where you can be acknowledged and awarded and celebrated. That is why we are gathered here today and this weekend. Well,
you know what? Thank you for putting it together, because one thing that's missing in our world is recognizing how much we each do for each other. It's very nice that you've actually seen that.
Yes, you know, a lot of people have done a lot for our families, our communities, and they have not been praised, recognized, and celebrated. And this is the opportunity that God has given us through Dr. DK to celebrate people. No matter what you have done, you need to be honored and celebrated. And that is why I decided to work with him. Although I am a minister and author of many books, and I see that when we write books, whom do we give the books to read? And why do we want to hand a book over to them? It is because they need to know somebody loves them, cares for them, and somebody wants to celebrate their goodness. Like you are helping drug people, it's time for us to celebrate you for helping people who are confused, who want to be where they think they want to be, but they don't know how to get there. So when they go on the drugs, they think that will make them good. So Dr. DK is letting people know that you don't have to take a drug to be high. You can be celebrated.
Very nice. And you know what? Let's take your lead, and we'll take a moment here during the show and congratulate and also thank for his hard work Dr. Agaram DK. You know, he's put all this together here at the National Press Club. Tonight we're going to have a VIP dinner, an event, and meeting, dignitaries from all over the world, and he's going to be presenting the Lifetime Presidential Awards So we're very lucky that both of us are here. We'll be receiving these awards. And thank you, Dr. Decay. Now, what I want to get to is because, I was here, just so you know, I was walking through the lobby, and I saw this table with this plethora and multitudes of different books on very interesting topics. And so I asked the woman at the table, who is the author? This is unbelievable. When does this person sleep? She's always trying to help people. And she introduced me to you. And so what I wanted to ask you, first of all, is, was this something that you started when you were like a young girl? Or tell us about that. How did this calling come about?
Thank you for asking. I felt called to write books when I started reading literatures. I kind of got interested in knowing what people do and how they do it. So I like to read biographies. And especially when I read the Bible, I see a lot of detailed stories of how people became who they became. And one of the favorite people that I like in the Bible is King David. How he overcame his trials, challenges, and difficulties. And when I look around me, I see different people with difficulties and challenges. And I felt in me I needed to start writing. So actually, the first book I would write was about the age of 13. When I gave it to people to read and to acknowledge it, I never got my copies back. So I decided I'll be typing everything. And because my dad trained me to be a stenographer, so I know how to type directly from my head without writing a manuscript. So I started with the typewriter. And still, because the typewriter doesn't have a memory, when I give out my work to people to read, they never give it back to me. So by the time I would publish my first book, which was in 1996, I published my first book in 1996. And then I realized that I could publish the first book with errors, mistakes, and still it will be accepted, and then later on I'll re-edit the books. So I published my first book. Despite the errors, people were moved and they encouraged me. Nobody complained about the errors, the grammatical errors. And I published it in England. I was a student in University of Wales.
Wow.
And people...
Well, they would definitely say something to you.
People were just encouraging me that when they took my book, they could not drop it. Then I realized there is something in me. And also because I'm a trained journalist, so it helped the fact that I investigate a matter. Whatever the issue is, I do an investigation and I'm able to put it together. So if you look at a book like this that talks about mentoring.
This is School of Mentoring and Leadership.
Yes.
The act of mentoring.
Yes. It has to do with how I receive help from people who advised me, who corrected me, who made me know what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, and how I can rise up in life. So this is why I wrote 3 books on mentoring. All right?
Interesting. Let me hold that one for you.
Yes. Then
and I want the viewers to know that we only took a few of them.
Yes.
She actually has a table that's about 3 feet by 4 feet, and I would say there must be at least 30 books on that tabletop. So we're just going to show you just a select portion. Here we go.
Yes. And I have another book on leadership. Now, people think you have to be a speaker to be a leader. Even if you're a cleaner who cleans an environment, cleaning is very, very important. So this is vessels of honor. Whoever beautifies an environment is a vessel of honor.
Interesting. The aroma of giving God.
Yes.
Interesting. So regardless of who you are, the scent or the light or the illumination of something good.
Yes, the fragrance of what you do. I'm well dressed. If I want to use the restroom, if that restroom is nasty, it will affect my appearance.
Sure.
So those who do cleaning, those who wash, whatever you do in this life, let it come with a fragrance. So this book talks about the aroma of serving God in whatever you do. So
I can't wholeheartedly agree. Something that I wanted to just say while you're bringing this topic out, so many people in the world are looking for energy.
Yes.
And I always say to them, if you help the community, if you do something for others, not for you,
yes,
you get it back and you get energy. And so I
Yes.
say, this book is exactly, I totally agree with it. Very nice. Good. Continue.
Okay. Now, there is another book here.
Uh-huh.
This book is about Esther. Esther is a young girl who was an orphan. And one day, she will enter a palace and become a queen, the wife of the king. And in this world, people think because you don't have mother or father, you cannot get help, but you can. Her uncle, Mordecai, assisted her. She did not just become a queen, she became a ruler, a woman of wisdom. I don't know who you are. I don't know your challenges and difficulties. You need to read this book. By praying and fasting, you will make your destiny. You will rise. You'll be on top and never below, above and never beneath. You will shine like the bright and morning star. A lot of people have used this book to get to their destiny. In marriage, in relationship, wherever you are in the world, there is a place for you. So you need to read this book, 3 to 21 days, Esther Progressive Prayer Fast. And up to today, Esther is celebrated all over the world. Esther Fast.
Esther Progressive Prayer Fast.
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay, so changing the course of generations.
Yes.
Making your own future.
Yes.
I'm a very, very big proponent of that. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and he was telling me, he goes, so many people are misled. They feel that to get success, they just have to walk in a direction. But he said to me, no. When you walk in that direction, you're going to have thorns, you're going to have rocks in your feet,
Yes.
and you're going to have problems and travails.
Yes.
But the secret is to continue to succeed.
Yes.
Very nice. This is what this book is about. Then.
Yes.
Very nice.
Now, in this world, whether we like it or not, there is a spiritual part of life, apart from physical parts of life. And apart from that, we come through different kinds of challenges and difficulties, just like you have mentioned. If you look into the Bible, every great man went through a challenge.
That's right.
You don't become great until you have conquered. You are great because you overcame, because you fought a war, because you struggled and you overcame the struggle. And so I have this book that says Strategic Intercessory Warfare.
Right.
Weapons. What kind of weapons do we need to fight our wars?
These are the tactics of how to fight.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
That is character helps in your warfare. Behavior helps in your warfare. How you react to situation. Now, patience is one of the greatest weapons of warfare.
That's right.
When I say patience, that means you might be going through different challenges and difficulties. Don't let your challenges rule your life, but look for wisdom. And in searching for wisdom, you need to be patient. So patience is a weapon that overcomes rush, anger, tantrum, and fighting everybody and talking ruthlessly. You will not get help. But patience will tell you, wait, watch, what steps should I take? How do I go over it? And that is where faith comes in. Your faith is, I will be faithful to whoever I come across. I will be honest. I will be sincere. Sometimes telling the truth looks a little bit difficult. But if you don't tell the truth, you become a liar. And when you become a liar, you become deceptive. Nobody will take you for what you say. So this is where patience is needed when you tell the truth. Wait. If you say, I planted a seed, whether it's true or not, one day that seed will grow and it will bear fruit. So there are characters and behaviors that we need to manage in our lives in order to have weapons to overcome the wrong in our lives. And so this book, you can see that this man looks short, but because he believes, he raised up his armor against any kind of spirit that is coming against him, any kind of problem. The lion is a problem because the lion is a devourer.
Right.
All right? But this man has faith, believes in God, patiently raise up his armor against the enemy. So faith, peace, joy, long-suffering. Patience is long-suffering. But one day, you win the war. So I will encourage everybody, go on the internet, Amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles, just Google Pauline Walley. You will find Dr. Pauline Walley, and you will also find Dr. Pauline Walley Daniels. The Daniels is an additional that I got married.
Yes, I see that your husband is also a reverend.
Yes, because he assists me.
I see, okay.
Yes, he helps me.
A smart man.
Yes, because at nights, like you said, you ask me a question, do I sleep? I barely sleep. And my husband permits me to do the writings, because if I don't write at night, it's difficult during the day. The phone calls are coming in.
Too many, right?
Too many activities goes on.
That's right.
So I spend my night writing.
Absolutely, because I
and
see,
researching.
I see that because I know, as in running my own program, the Drug-Free World program, how much time is taken in leading and communicating. So to me, I marvel at what you've been able to accomplish with these books, and there's so many here. Let me put them on the floor because there are so many here.
Yes.
It's amazing. And I really like this one that you just showed because that's so important for us in life. You know, many times we get confronted by something that's very menacing, like this lion. And if you let's hold this up to the television screen. Here you go. And you know, this is really very, very good metaphor or picture to look at because, like Dr. Walley said, you know, we have to continue. You know, we have to have faith, and this is a beautiful thing. Now, you know, I was looking, and I see that you also run a training institute.
Yes.
Tell us, and you're in the Bronx, right?
Yes.
So this is really beautiful because, you know, our program, which is the Drug-Free World program, is located in Queens, New York. And so tell us a little bit about your vocational program.
Yes, as I travel around the world, I realize that after you have prayed for people, if a hungry man asks for help and you pray for the person, what next? You have to provide food for the person. I have been paying school fees for people, giving people food to eat. We do the food program and everything. But, you know, when you see people sticking around you, calling you day and night for money, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes I look at them, they are more clever than I am.
Right.
They are stronger than I am. So when people ask me for money, I try to find out, what do you do for life?
Yes.
If I give you $10 now, and you buy bread and eat, in the evening you still have to feed yourself and possibly members of your family.
That's right.
So I decided to run 2 different types of program. The Bible school is to train people to have wisdom to relate to God. Going to the Bible school does not necessarily make you a pastor or an evangelist, but it gives you wisdom.
Yes.
To reason,
Yes.
to know how the Word of God can help you. Even if you are a cleaner in the church, an usher, an administrator, if you go to Bible school, what are you acquiring? The Word of God says, study to show yourself approved unto God, like a workman that needs not to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. As a parent, you need wisdom to raise your children. As a leader anywhere, even a friend anywhere, you need wisdom to raise people up, to help people, to assist people. So the other program, which is a vocational school, we are building a vocational school in Africa. We intend to build it in any part of the world as we receive support, as people fund and give us help. And when you give us help, the help may one day reach your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, or somebody relating to you. What are we doing with a vocational school? We want people to learn a vocation. Even if one day they want to be a doctor or an engineer or somebody, one thing is, if you know how to use your hands, you will never go hungry. You want to learn how to be a cobbler, shoemaker, or shoe mender. You will repair somebody's shoe or you shine somebody's shoe, you will eat or drink. You want to be a designer, tailor or seamstress, fashion designer. If you learn how to do something, it will help you. I design my own clothing. Though I don't sit down to sew, my mother was a fashion designer, okay, a seamstress, as we used to call it that in those days.
That's right.
So I know this outfit, I designed it.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Very nice.
You know, I designed the way my seamstress should make my dress. And sometimes when I ask them to design, they say, no, nobody does. I said, no, that is for me. That is my custom-made clothing. This is custom-made. All right? So I am teaching people how to help themselves. Even when I was in the university, I had to be cooking to make money to pay my school fees. I cook for fellow students. All right? So I am training people in the vocational institution to learn how to help themselves. Even if you want to be the president of a nation, you must learn how to do something to help yourself to get to where you are going. So that is why I am doing the vocational school. If you want to be a preacher and you don't know how to do anything, what kind of a message are you going to preach to the poor people in your neighborhood? I am an evangelist, and whenever I go to a place to go and evangelize, the people want me to feed them. And I also train them to say, go and learn to do this or that so you can make money to pay school fees and go to school. I have 2 doctoral degrees. Who paid my fees? I paid it. I was cooking for my fellow students, making money to buy books and to pay for my journalistic training. When I was doing my master's at University of Wales, I was cooking for fellow students. I was also typing their paperwork. So I want to teach people how you can help yourself without becoming a beggar. I type for people, their thesis, their projects, their dissertation, and they paid me for it. And I use it to pay my own school fees. So today, I am building a vocational school to teach people various things on how to exist without becoming a beggar, without becoming poor, without living in lack and penury. So that is the purpose of the vocational school. I don't have all the money. I need help from whoever can help me. And like you see, we have written letters asking people, whatever you donate, your name will be written on the block of the building. That even if you give $5, your name will be there. Because little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. Please help and support us. Because when I sell the book, sometimes all I get for royalty is 90 cents. And 90 cents cannot be added together unless everybody gives 90 cents, then I'll make it $10.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you a question. What is the link or site that our viewers could go to make a donation to your cause?
Go to paulinewalley.org. 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 Once you put in Pauline Walley, so many things, so many information will come up about us. And even if you want to Zelle, okay, you want to make your donation by Zelle, at the end of the year, we'll send you a letter that you can use for tax exemption. So the Zelle number will be 718-839-4140. 718-839-4140. you can zell to us.
Well, there you go. So you know how to help her out, how to contact her. And one thing I wanted to say, Doc, before we end off, and with your vocational program, very interesting, because you're doing something I strongly believe in, is that, sure, I can help someone, but what's the best way I can help them? You know, it's like it said in the Bible, you can give someone fish, or you can teach them how to fish, so that they'll be able to support themselves the rest of their life. So I wholeheartedly agree, and what I was going to say to you is, many times when people don't have a job, they're downtrodden, they're looking for things, they turn to these drugs. And what I wanted to do is offer you this program for your vocational institute. So not only do we teach them a vocation, but we teach them the truth about drugs, so they don't turn to drugs, but they turn to education and getting a job. What do you think of that, Doc?
Yes, this is where deliverance starts from. One, you must understand why people went into drug. And I love this. It says, drug destroy and ruin millions of lives every year. What should you know about them? Yes, that is why we have a book like this, Spiritual Warfare. We also have a book on deliverance, because we train people to come out of this. Drugs destroys. Drug will mislead you out of your destiny. We have people of great profession who are on drugs because they are not satisfied. So this training, I believe, is something that we need. Okay, we have to know the truth about drugs. Even there are people who just smoke cigarettes, and when they don't smoke, their bodies start shaking because they've been used to smoking. But nonetheless, we will help them to come out. So yourself and myself are going to be doing programs to help people who live on drugs.
Absolutely.
I know people who have great profession, but they can't sleep without taking drugs.
Well, you know what, Dr. Walley? It's a pleasure to have you on the
Yes.
show. I would urge our viewers to support her group and her cause, and we definitely will work together to
Yes.
help the New York public, to help the world public,
Yes.
help you in Africa.
Yes.
And thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of A Time for Truth show.
Yes.
Have a great day.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got. The world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet